wake up, it's time to be free. Wake up, was blind, now I see. Wake up, it's time to be me. Wake up, my mind is the key.
Wake up, it's time to be me. Wake up, my mind is the key.
Welcome. It's Jullien Gordon here, founder of the Freedom School, and I want to welcome you to another episode of the Daily Jules, where I drop nuggets of wisdom to help you increase your degrees of freedom. It does not matter how many college degrees you have. The only degree that really matters is your degree of freedom. It does not matter how much money you make. What really matters is how you actually make money. So today I have an amazing question from Edward, and Edward is talking about making a stronger offer. One strong offer can literally change the trajectory of your business. A lot of people try to make a whole bunch of offers and they're all weak and they're wondering why their business doesn't grow. Instead of doing that, I would kind of like Megatron it and put together the strongest offer you could possibly make to your avatar and your audience. And so I want to give just a series of elements that I think are key ingredients for a great offer. Okay, so, there's a science to this. There's literally a science to this. And anytime you've been up late at night and you've been watching infomercials, they still, even though they're corny and they're cheesy, they actually work. They actually work, right? And people study these, and there are people who their entire business is actually just creating infomercial for products that are up and coming, right? So that they can reach a mass audience. And if you look at those infomercials, next time you come across an infomercial, I want you to look at it very carefully. And I guarantee that you're gonna see a lot of these elements that I'm going to share with you right here in those infomercials. And you'll see why this ultimately, why this actually converts. And so, the key elements to, I'm going to give you some key elements that are just essential. I'm going to give you about 8 of those. And then there's some additional elements that if you add them on, is only going to increase your conversion rate. So the first element is actually having something that works. Something that works. A lot of people wondering why they're not winning in their online business or their offline business is because they haven't proven to their customers or themselves yet that what they have actually works. Once you know that what you have actually works, once you get that first success story, which I call your Jared, and Jared is from Subway, and Subway literally had that one success story, and they rode that for almost 2 decades before he got into some crazy stuff, right? And so the first thing is actually you need something that works. You need something that works. Your product or service actually has to work. A lot of people go build all these websites and landing pages and sequences and things of that nature, all these technologies to try to make it work. But if this doesn't work, then it's all for naught, okay? So the next thing is you have to be crystal clear about your audience and avatar. You don't need to sell to everybody. You only need to sell to people who your product or service is actually going to be a home run for. That's who you need to focus on. Now, if other people end up coming, right, because of word of mouth or whatnot, you can sell to them. But when you are initially going out to the market, because marketing can be expensive, you only want to focus on the people and reaching and targeting the people who your offer is going to work for, who your system, your product, your service is actually going to work for, right? So that's where you want to be crystal clear. You don't just want to market to everyone. Some people start something and then they try to sell to their friends. Your friends are likely not your target market. They are not the ones who are going to benefit. Yes, you have a strong relationship to them, and they're not a warm lead, right? You may have a great relationship, but they're not a warm lead. They probably don't need what you have. And so you have to be crystal clear on who your avatar is and your ideal client. Okay. The next thing you want to do while making the offer is you want to aggravate the problem. There's this quote in marketing that says, if you can articulate your customer's problem better than they can, they will assume that you have the solution. If you can articulate their problem better than they can, they will assume that you have the solution. And so you have to have a deep awareness, and this is why I created the Avatar Analyzer course, right? You have to have a deep awareness, deeper than actually the customer themselves, of what their problem really is. Right. And then in your making of your offer, you want to show them that you understand what they're going through by aggravating the problem. And I'm going to share an example of this in a second. Then, of course, you want to highlight your product or service. So you might say, Jullien, you already put that, something that works, right? No. Product or service is actually the vehicle that gets them to the result that they want. People are buying results. Like when I go to Home Depot, I don't want a piece of wood with a piece of metal on it. That's called a hammer, right? What I want in my living room is a picture of my family hung up perpendicularly in the living room, right? So I don't go to Home Depot for a hammer. That's not what I want, but a hammer is the product that I ultimately need to get that done, right? And if a hammer works better than other things, then that's what I'm gonna buy. And so you have to make a distinction between the actual system that works, that gets them the result, and the product or service. They are not always the same thing. Sometimes they're the same, right? But you want to highlight your product or service and as the vehicle, as the mechanism that's going to get them to their desired result, okay? So from there, of course, you need a price. You need a price. And a lot of people have questions about how to come up with pricing. That's a whole nother episode in and of itself. I think at the base, you need to understand the cost of goods sold. If it's an actual product, you need to understand how much it's going to cost you. You also need to understand the overhead that it takes to get one product out the door in terms of time and other systems and technologies, right, that it costs you. So there's the actual cost. So let's just say a book, for example, there's a cost of the paper, the printing, the ink, etc. Right? So there's that cost. But then if I have somebody going to the post office to ship the stamps and things of that nature, I need to add all that stuff in that's not directly connected to the book, right? And then that gives me my base price. That's my break-even price. And then from there, you can also look out in the market and see what other people are charging. Some people may be actually charging less than your base price because they have their back-end business, more efficient than yours, right? And so from here, you have your base price, which is looking at the cost. Then you have what other people are charging in the market. And then you're going to have some people in your market who are probably premium. And you have to ask, can I actually offer the level of service that they offer? Okay. Can I deliver at that kind of level to command premium pricing? If you have something that works and it works 95% of the time, you can actually start moving towards premium pricing where they're just, I think that's where you ultimately want to be. You want to be best in class, right? It just makes it makes everything else easier when you are committed to being best in class. Now you may be committed to being best in class and you're not there yet, right? So you have to continue to improve your formula. Right? You have to continue to improve your formula toward ultimately move towards being best in class. From there, you actually, if you look at the infomercials, right, there needs to be a deadline or urgency to act now. We as human beings, we are typically procrastinators. We wait until the last possible moment. Now, if there's no deadline or urgency, then that person, unless they are in excruciating pain, they will just delay. And then when they are in a space of urgency because you've given up, somebody else with a similar product or service may show up in their lives at the moment that they need it. Right. So once you are in conversation with them, you have to have some sort of deadline and urgency in order to get them to act. When you had a 20-page paper due in college and it was you delayed and procrastinated until what, the night before, and all of a sudden you showed up and you pumped it out, however you did it. Why? Because there was a deadline. Because there was a deadline. So we show up when there is a deadline. You have to make people come to a decision point where they're going to say yes to their future or they're going to say no to it. Okay. This one sounds rather simple, but it is a call to action. Call to action. When you think about those infomercials, the call to action is dial now, right? Dial now. Dial now and call this number or go to this website and take advantage of this opportunity. Okay. So this is the key to have a call of action. The next one is usually a bonus. When you look at those infomercials, what do you see? They say, that's not it, but wait, there's more, right? In addition to what you were about to buy and what was already, what you were already pricing in your head, is this worth it? I'm actually going to give you 2, right? Or I'm also going to give you this complimentary product or bonus that is going to make this value, make this offer even more valuable to you, right? So they were already ready to, they were already getting close to thinking about buying, and then you just added on something else that that has rocked their world and has pushed them over the tipping point. And then I actually have one more for you, which is some sort of guarantee. When I make my offers, I like to make a guarantee. I don't like the risk to be on the customer or the potential client. I am willing to take on as much risk as possible to get those who might otherwise say no to get out of their own way, because I know that through working with me, right, through my products and services, that they're going to get to their desired result faster, safer, and easier. So I have to do whatever possible to actually reverse the risk, to take the risk on myself, right, in my company, rather than putting the risk on them. Hey, just try it out. And if it doesn't work for you, too bad. And a lot of people, especially in online education, a lot of people, and even colleges, right, they'll take your money and they don't care what happens to you on the back end, right? You'll buy an online course and they don't care if you finish it. They don't even care if you log in, right? So I don't operate like that. I can't sleep at night like that. I want to make sure that all of my clients get the results. Okay, so I'll have some sort of guarantee. It could be a money back guarantee. It could be a trial. There's even guarantees where other people have said, if you don't like it, I'll pay you, right? So this is doing everything possible to get them to say yes, because if you truly believe in what you have to offer, then you should be willing to give a guarantee, and a great one at that. So some other things to potentially bolt onto these 9 core components is a comparison between what you have and a competitor or an alternative. So, for example, if I was a bus company and like Bolt Bus or Greyhound, and I can get you to DC in 4 hours for $20 on my website, I might actually put from New York to DC on my website. I actually might put the comparison that it's going to cost you $200 and a lot of time at the airport to actually get there by flying, right? Because now the customer is thinking about different avenues, and they probably research different avenues to get to the desired result. And so this is your opportunity to make a comparison. Sometimes you'll go to a website and you'll see a comparison where they say this is ours and we have all these checks, but then this comparison only has this one only has this, and they only have that. Sometimes you'll see that on a website, right? The other thing that you can bolster on is benefits that are beyond the tangible benefit that they want. So, for example, they may be coming to you for an iPhone, right? Let's just use an iPhone, right? They're coming to you to have a calling device, which is the primary reason they're coming to you. But then a benefit, if you're like an elder, you can say, look, you'll be able to talk to your grandkids using FaceTime, right? You'll be able to browse the internet, right? So benefits are usually the things that are beyond the more emotional things that are actually beyond the original reason why they are buying whatever it is that you have to buy. Okay. You also want to have testimonies. If you've actually have something that works, right? If you have something that works, you want to have testimonies. The easiest ones to get are written ones, but video is just so much more powerful because it's somebody that they might be able to relate to, that they can hear, see, and feel that it's a real person. A written testimony, you could scrape a picture from Google Images and then write some text, and the person won't know if that person will question that, right? But when it's somebody on camera talking about their experience with you intimately, that's going to be very powerful, okay? The other thing you can add on is use cases. So this is how you can use it. So for instance, baking soda. If I was selling baking soda, I'd probably be able to sell baking soda for $50. Why? Because there are so many use cases for baking soda. I don't even know what the primary use case is anymore. Baking soda is like this universal thing. And so I might put all the ways that you can actually use this to improve your life and get you the desired outcome that you want. Another one is your big why. Why are you so passionate and committed to this, right? Is it just to make money? And that's okay. There are some transactional businesses out there, but why is this so important to you? So what's your origin story, and why are you so passionate about getting this product or service or this message out to the world? Okay. So that is how I would make a great offer. Ed, you want to run down your offer and ask, does it have all these things? And does it have these additional ones that I bolted on? And the more of these you have, the stronger the offer you will have. And I think you'll see higher conversions with each one that you add on. Okay. So this is another episode of the Daily Jules. Selling is so important. Most people are afraid to do it, but the way I define sales is the process of getting someone to accept help. Sales is the process of getting someone to accept help. They've usually been trying to do it on their own, DIY, and you know that your product or service can actually serve them and help them get there faster, safer, and easier. And so it's actually your moral obligation to go out there and sell whatever it is that you have to sell, not in some slimy, sleazeball way. No, that's not what this is about. This is helping people get out of their own way. Because when you think about some of the things you bought, it was really about you getting out of your own way because you were the block. You are the block, and you have you get to break down that barrier for people when you actually sell them. You get to open them up to a new possibility that for whatever reason they could not access on their own. So this is another episode of the Daily Jules. I hope this episode on key ingredients for a great offer has blessed you, and I will see you in the next episode. All right, much love, peace. I hope these mindsets, metaphors, and methodologies blessed you. If you desire more freedom, go to getfreenow.com to subscribe to the show on iTunes, YouTube, or Facebook, and get 4 of my best courses in the Freedom School for 100% free.